Before we begin, I want to welcome you to our channel. For those who are new here, our mission is to share genuine Christian testimonies from around the world, spreading the powerful message of God's kingdom. We focus on stories about Jesus, the afterlife, heaven and hell, and other Bible-related topics, bringing them to you in engaging story form twice or 3 times a week. We invite you to become a member of this family by subscribing to our channel. God bless you as you do so. This testimony was sent to us by Sister Patricia. She explains what she saw in hell in her near-death experience. I'm going to read it as it was sent to us. No part was removed or added. Relax and hear her testimony. My name is Patricia Williams and I am 45 years old. I need to tell you something that happened to me. Something that changed everything about how I see life and death and what really matters. For most of my life, people looked at me like I had it all figured out. I was a church leader at Mount Olive Baptist Church. I taught Sunday school to the kids. I organized the charity drives. I was married to a good man named Robert for 16 years, and we had 3 beautiful children together. Favor was 14, Michael was 12, and little Jessica was just 8. Everyone in our community knew me as the woman who always had a smile on her face. The one who would bring you soup when you were sick. The one who would pray with you when things got tough. I was on the church board and people would come to me for advice about their marriages and their problems with their kids. But here is the thing nobody knew. I was living a lie. A big terrible lie that ate at me every single day. Before we continue, please let me know where you're listening from. It would be nice to feel closer, even if we're physically apart. Also, don't forget to like. It will help this video to reach so many people who need to listen to this testimony, and leave a comment. Share your thoughts about this near-death experience testimony. Let's have a fair and open discussion so we can learn from each other here on this channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more of this content coming your way. Enjoy listening. For 16 years, I had been having an affair with my boss at work. His name was Philip and he was married too. We worked at the same insurance company, and what started as just friendly conversations turned into something much more serious. We would meet at hotels during lunch breaks. We would text each other all day long. When I was at home with my family, I would think about him. When I was at church teaching about faithfulness and commitment, I would think about him. I became really good at hiding things. I would delete text messages. I would make up stories about working late. I would volunteer for church events just so I could get away from the house and meet Philip. The worst part was that I started to believe my own lies. I would tell myself that God understood, that my marriage was not perfect anyway, that Robert did not pay enough attention to me, that I deserved to be happy. I justified everything. When I was leading prayer groups about forgiveness, I would think that God had already forgiven me. When I was counseling other women about their marriages, I would think that their problems were worse than mine. When I was reading Bible verses about adultery to my Sunday school class, I would think that those rules were for other people. People who were not as good as me in other areas of their lives. The crazy thing was that I really did care about people. I really did want to help them. I really did believe in God. But I had this whole other life that I kept separate from everything else. Like I was 2 different people living in the same body. My husband Robert never suspected anything. He trusted me completely. He would brag to his friends about how lucky he was to have such a devoted wife. He would tell people that I was the most honest person he knew. Every time he said things like that, I felt sick inside, but I would just smile and change the subject. My kids loved me and looked up to me. Favor would tell her friends that her mom was the coolest because I was so involved in church and community activities. Michael would ask me to help him with his homework, and we would pray together before he went to bed. Little Jessica would climb into my lap during church services and whisper that she wanted to be just like me when she grew up. Can you imagine how that felt? Knowing that your own daughter wants to be like you when you are living such a horrible lie? But I kept going. Year after year. Philip and I would talk about leaving our spouses, but we never did. We both had too much to lose. Too many people depending on us. Too many things that would fall apart if the truth came out. So we just kept meeting in secret and lying to everyone who mattered to us. I threw myself into church work even more. I think part of me thought that if I did enough good things, it would somehow balance out the bad things. I started a program to help single mothers. I organized food drives for homeless families. I visited sick people in the hospital. I taught marriage counseling classes. Yes, you read that right. I taught other couples how to have strong, faithful marriages while I was cheating on my own husband. The guilt was always there, but I pushed it down. I got really good at not thinking about it. I would stay busy all the time so I did not have to be alone with my thoughts. I would pray, but only about safe things like asking God to bless my family and help people in need. I never prayed about my relationship with Philip because I was afraid of what God might say. Then last year everything changed. I found a lump in my breast during a routine check. First I thought it was nothing. I had always been healthy. I ate well and exercised and took care of myself. But when I went to the doctor, the tests showed that it was cancer. Aggressive breast cancer that had already started to spread. The next few months were a blur of doctor appointments and treatments, surgery and chemotherapy and radiation. I lost my hair and lost weight and felt sick most of the time. But you know what? Even while I was fighting cancer, I kept seeing Philip. Even when I was so weak I could barely stand up, I would find ways to meet him. Even when my family was taking care of me and showing me so much love, I was still lying to them. The cancer got worse. Much worse. The doctors said they needed to do one more surgery. A big, complicated surgery that might save my life or might not. They told Robert and the kids that there was about a 50% chance that I would not make it through the operation. The night before the surgery, my whole family gathered around my hospital bed. Robert held my hand and told me how much he loved me. Favor read me a poem she had written about how I was her hero. Michael brought me a drawing he had made of our family with angel wings. Little Jessica climbed up on the bed and hugged me tight and whispered that she had been praying for me every night. I looked at their faces and I wanted so badly to tell them the truth, to confess everything before it was too late. But I was too scared, too afraid of hurting them, too afraid of destroying everything they believed about me. So I just smiled and told them I loved them and that everything would be okay. The surgery was scheduled for early morning. They gave me medicine to make me sleepy, and I remember being wheeled into the operating room. The last thing I remember was the bright lights above me and the sound of machines beeping. Then everything went black. But it was not the peaceful kind of black you might think. It was hot and scary, and I could hear screaming in the distance. When I opened my eyes, I was not in the hospital anymore. I was in a place that looked like a cave, but the walls were on fire. The air was thick and hard to breathe. There was smoke everywhere and the smell was terrible. I tried to stand up, but my whole body was burning. Not just hot, but actually on fire. I looked down and I could see flames all around me, but somehow I was not being burned up. I was just in constant pain like nothing I had ever felt before. Then I heard the voices, women crying and screaming. I turned around and I could see them. Dozens of women who looked just as terrified as I felt. They were all on fire too, all in the same terrible pain. A voice spoke to me. It was deep and scary and seemed to come from everywhere at once. It said, "Patricia Williams, you thought you were so smart. You thought you could fool everyone. You thought you could live two lives and no one would know." Then I heard my own voice, but it was not me talking. Something else was using my voice to say things out loud. Terrible things. Every lie I had ever told. Every time I had met Philip in secret. Every time I had looked my husband in the eye and lied to him. Every time I had taught other people about faithfulness while I was being unfaithful. The voice repeated every single detail. Things I had forgotten about. Things I thought no one knew. It was like someone had recorded my entire life and was playing back all the worst parts. I wanted to cover my ears, but I could not move my arms. I wanted to run away, but my legs would not work. Other voices joined in. Demons, I think, though I could not see them clearly. They laughed at me and called me names. They said I was a hypocrite. They said I had fooled everyone but myself. They said I was getting exactly what I deserved. Then I heard the other women. They were telling their stories too. Women who had cheated on their husbands. Women who had lied to their families. Women who had lived double lives just like me. Their voices mixed together in a horrible chorus of pain and regret. I do not know how long this went on. Time seemed different there. It felt like hours but also like forever. The burning never stopped. The voices never stopped. The regret and shame never stopped. But then something changed. There was a new light. Not the red light of the fire, but something bright and white and clean. It got brighter and brighter until I had to close my eyes. When I opened them again, I saw him. Jesus. I knew it was him even though I had never seen him before. He was beautiful and sad at the same time. There were tears on his face. The demons stopped talking. The fire stopped burning. Everything became quiet except for the sound of him crying. He looked at me and said, "Patricia, you were never honest with me. You never brought your real problems to me. You never asked me for help with your real struggles. You prayed about safe things, but you never trusted me with your heart." I tried to speak, but no words came out. I wanted to apologize, but I did not know how. He continued, "You helped so many people. You did so many good things. You really did love me and love other people. But you never loved yourself enough to be honest. You never believed that I could love you exactly as you are with all your problems and mistakes." Then he said something that changed everything. "But I still love you, Patricia. I have always loved you. Even when you were lying to everyone else, you could never lie to me. I knew about Philip. I knew about every secret meeting. I knew about every lie you told Robert. I knew about every time you stood in front of the church and felt like a fraud." I started crying. Not just tears, but deep sobs that came from somewhere inside me I did not know existed. He reached out his hand to me and said, "I am going to give you something you do not deserve. Something no one deserves. I am going to give you another chance. You are going to go back to your family. You are going to wake up on that operating table. And you are going to tell them the truth. All of it." I looked at him and whispered, "Why? Why would you do that for me after everything I have done?" He smiled through his tears and said, "Because that is who I am. That is what love does. Love gives second chances. Love believes in people even when they do not believe in themselves. Love never gives up." Then he said, "But Patricia, you have to understand something. This is your last chance. Not just to make things right with your family. This is your last chance to be honest. To live the life I created you to live. To be the person you really are underneath all the lies." The light got brighter again, and I felt myself being pulled away from that terrible place. I could hear his voice getting farther away, but I could still make out the words. "Tell them about me, Patricia. Tell them that I love them. Tell them that I am real. Tell them that honesty is the only way to really live." The next thing I knew, I was opening my eyes in a hospital room. There were machines beeping and people in white coats standing around me. I could hear Robert crying and calling my name. "Patricia, Patricia, can you hear me?" The doctor said I had been unconscious for 3 days. That they had not expected me to wake up. That it was some kind of miracle. I looked around the room and saw my whole family. Robert was holding my hand. Favor and Michael were standing by the window. Little Jessica was curled up in a chair sleeping. They all looked so tired and worried. The first words out of my mouth were, "I have to tell you something. I have to tell you the truth." Robert leaned in close and said, "What is it, honey? What do you need to tell me?" And right there in that hospital room with my children listening, I told them everything. About Philip. About the 16 years of lies. About the double life I had been living. About how sorry I was. About how I had seen Jesus and how he had given me another chance to be honest. I expected Robert to get angry. I expected him to yell at me or walk out of the room. But instead he just held my hand tighter and started crying. He said, "Patricia, I have known something was wrong for years. I did not know what it was, but I knew you were carrying some kind of secret. I am so sorry that you felt like you could not tell me. I am so sorry that you went through all of this alone. My kids did not understand everything, but they knew something important was happening. Favor came over and hugged me and said, "Mom, I still love you." Michael said, "We are going to figure this out together." Even little Jessica woke up and climbed onto the bed and said, "I am just happy you are awake." The next few weeks were the hardest and also the most amazing of my life. I had to tell my pastor and the church board about what had happened. I had to step down from all my leadership positions. I had to face Philip and tell him that our relationship was over forever. Some people in the church were angry with me. Some people felt betrayed and hurt. I understood why. I had been teaching them about living faithfully while I was being unfaithful. I had been counseling them about their marriages while I was destroying my own. But other people surprised me. They said they were grateful that I had been honest. They said it made them feel like they could be honest too about their own struggles. They said it reminded them that everyone needs forgiveness and second chances. Robert and I started going to counseling together. It was hard work, really hard. There were days when we both wondered if our marriage could survive. But we both wanted to try. We both wanted to build something new and honest instead of trying to fix something that had been broken for so long. I also started seeing a counselor by myself. I had to figure out why I had made the choices I made. Why I had felt like I needed to live two different lives. Why I had never felt like I could be honest about my struggles and temptations. What I learned was that I had been trying to be perfect for so long that I forgot how to be real. I thought that if people knew the real me, they would not love me anymore. I thought that if I admitted I was struggling, they would think I was weak or fake. But the opposite turned out to be true. When I started being honest about my problems, people felt closer to me, not farther away. When I admitted that I did not have all the answers, people felt like they could trust me more, not less. My marriage with Robert is different now. It is not perfect, but it is honest. We talk about things we never talked about before. We pray together about real things, not just safe things. We go to counseling together, and we are learning how to really know each other after all these years. My relationship with my kids is different too. They are old enough now to understand more about what happened. We talk about temptation and forgiveness and second chances. I think they are learning things about life and faith that I never could have taught them when I was pretending to be perfect. I am still involved in church, but in a different way. I do not teach classes about marriage anymore, but I do talk to women about honesty and second chances. I share my story with people who are struggling with their own secrets and lies. Some people think I should not be talking about this. They think I should keep quiet about what happened and just be grateful for my second chance. But I know that Jesus sent me back for a reason. He sent me back to tell people about what I learned in that terrible place. He sent me back to tell people that hell is real. That the choices we make in this life really matter. That we cannot fool God even when we fool everyone else. But he also sent me back to tell people about his love. About how he gives second chances to people who do not deserve them. About how he never gives up on us even when we give up on ourselves. I am still fighting cancer. The doctors say the surgery was successful, but I will need to keep getting treatments. I do not know how much time I have left on this earth. But I know that whatever time I have, I want to spend it being honest, being real, being the person God created me to be. If you are listening to this story and you are living a lie like I was, I want you to know something. You do not have to wait until you are dying to tell the truth. You do not have to wait until you end up in that terrible place to be honest about who you really are. Jesus loves you exactly as you are right now, with all your problems and mistakes and secrets. He is not waiting for you to get your life together before he accepts you. He is waiting for you to be honest with him about where you really are. Maybe you are cheating on your spouse like I was. Maybe you are lying about money or drinking or something else. Maybe you are living two different lives and you are tired of pretending. Maybe you are helping other people with their problems while your own life is falling apart. Whatever it is, you do not have to carry it alone anymore. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to have all the answers. You just have to be honest. You just have to be real. And if you are someone who has been hurt by people like me who have lied to you and betrayed your trust, want you to know that I am sorry. I am sorry for all the church leaders and parents and friends who have let you down. I am sorry for all the people who have taught you one thing while doing another. But please do not let our failures keep you from believing in God. Do not let our mistakes keep you from believing in love and forgiveness and second chances. We are just people. Broken people who need grace just as much as anyone else. God is not like us. He does not lie or cheat or pretend to be something he is not. He loves you perfectly and completely, and he will never let you down. He will never give you a reason to doubt his love or his faithfulness. That is what I learned in that terrible place, and that is what I want to share with you. Hell is real, but so is heaven. Death is real, but so is life. Judgment is real, but so is forgiveness. You get to choose. Every day you get to choose between honesty and lies, between the real you and the fake you, between facing your problems and hiding from them. I chose to hide for 16 years, and it almost cost me everything. But God in his mercy gave me another chance. He gave me a chance to be honest and to help other people be honest too. You do not have to wait for a near-death experience to make that choice. You can make it right now. You can decide today to stop living a lie and start living the truth. It will not be easy. People might be hurt or angry or disappointed. You might lose some things that are important to you, but you will gain something even more important. You will gain yourself, the real you, the person God created you to be, and you will gain the peace that comes from knowing that you do not have to pretend anymore. You do not have to keep track of lies or worry about being found out. You can just be yourself, imperfect but honest, broken but real. That is the gift Jesus gave me when he sent me back from that terrible place. The gift of honesty, the gift of second chances, the gift of knowing that I am loved exactly as I am. And that is the gift I want to give you by telling you this story. You are loved. You are forgiven. You are given new chances every single day to choose truth over lies and love over fear. Do not waste those chances like I did for so many years. Do not wait until it is almost too late to be honest about who you really are. Thank you for listening. If you have been blessed, please like this video. It will help YouTube to show it to more audience who need to hear about these testimonies today. Also share this video to your loved ones. It will be a great way to communicate Christ to others, and that will be the greatest gift you can give to those that you love. If you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please do so. It's free and it's a way of joining this great community of believers. Join us today and your life will not remain the same. Until next time, remain blessed.